Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nelu and you're watching Nelu Stitches. Today's tutorial will be learning how to cut and sew these two pieces that I'm putting on. It's a 3/4 palazzo pants with an elastic waist and then the top. Okay, if this is what you're interested in, please keep watching. Please like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe if you are new. Without further ado, let's start. I'm just raising my leg in case people are not seeing the length. Okay, so as you can see, my fabric is on fold. Okay, and then I used 2.5 yards of fabric for this tutorial. As you can see, I have my line here, which is the starting line, and I am marking 2.5 inches below that line like this. So this 2.5 inch I'm marking is for my elastic casing. Like I said, I'm going to use 1 inch wide elastic for this pant. Okay, I'm using 1 inch wide elastic. If you're using a smaller elastic, you can just mark 1.5 inch, but I'm using a 1 inch wide elastic. That's why I'm using 2.5 inch for my casing. Okay, and then from that line now I'm going to mark my crotch. My crotch is my hip divided by 4 minus 1 inch. So my hip is 43. 43 divided by 4 is 10.75. But instead of marking 10.75, I'm marking 10 inch. Okay, that is my crotch. Hip divided by 4 minus 1 inch for your crotch. So I'm going to connect that now. So I've done that, and then from that same elastic casing line, I'm going to take the full length of this pants. So in my case, I marked 36. You can decide to make yours long. You can decide to make yours shorter. Okay, so just do whatever you like. So my case, I made my 3/4. So here is the length of the pants, and then below this length here I'm going to mark 2 inches. That is for folding allowance. Okay, so I made use of 2.5 yards of fabric. I managed it. It wasn't easy, but I managed it. Okay, because this pant is not that long, so I think that is why it was enough for me. So if you're on a bigger size, you can use 3 yards. So here I'm going to take my waist divided by my hip divided by 4, which is 10.75, because we'll be using elastic, so no need of marking your waist measurement. I'm going to mark the same thing on this line also, on the elastic line, my hip divided by 4. And then on this crotch line, I'm going to mark my thigh divided by 2. My thigh is 27, divided by 2 is 13.5. Okay, 13.5. So after marking the 13.5, I'm going to add 1 inch to that line. Okay, after marking 13.5, I'm going to add 1 inch to it. Okay, so now to create our curve, you're going to curve this way. So if you're finding it difficult to curve your pants, what you will do is to add your hip line. In my case is 9 inches. So now I'm going to mark my hip divided by 4 on that same hip line like this, and then I'll take the line straight down to the crotch line. I'll just extend it like this to the crotch, and from this point I'm going to go in or out by 1.5 like this. Okay, so from this point you mark 1.5. Just extend the line down like so, and then you mark 1.5 outward like this in order to curve your pants. Okay, and another way, you can just place your ruler like this and then curve. But another way to get it perfect and easy is to mark the hip line straight up to the waist. Okay, you just connect it straight up to the waist like this. Like this. Okay, and then after this I'm just going to place my curve and just curve it like so. So this should be easy. Even without a curve ruler, you can just connect like this, and that's all. Okay, so I'll just kind of highlight the curve. So this is just a perfect guide for you to curve your trouser crotch. Okay, So now after this, next I'm going to be marking my tie line. Okay, so for the tie, from your crotch you come down by 3 inches for your tie. From the crotch line you're going to come down by 3 inches for your tie length. Okay, so I came down by 3 inches for my tie. My tie length 3 inches. From your crotch line you're going to come down by 3 inches for your tie, and I'm going to connect that line like so, and on that line I'm going to mark my tie divide by 2, which is 13.5. In my case, my tie is to divide by 2, yes, and then your hip, you divide your hip by 4. So you just connect from the crotch down to the tie like this, like this. Okay, very simple. So we are not shaping anything on the hip, on the waist, because we are using elastic. In case you don't understand, we are not shaping the waist because of elastic. Then on this hemline, on this hemline of the trouser, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in by 1 inch like this. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain that you can measure where you want your trouser to stop. You measure around it to know how many inch you have and then how much you can add. Okay, so in my case I think I got 16, and then to that 16 I added extra. So sorry guys, I can't remember, but just measure around it and then you mark it. But before then I'm going to mark 1 inch here like this, 1 inch here, and then I'll connect it up to the crotch line or to the tie. Okay, you just take it up this way. So I'm going to mark it and show you guys. So as you can see, I've connected it from here towards the tie line like this. Okay, so from that 1 inch I marked inside there, I'm going to take my measurement now. So I'm using 11, that is the width I want for my palazzo. I used 11 inches, and then I add 1 inch to that for sewing allowance. Okay, I used 11 inches, so totally what I marked was 12 inches, and I'm going to connect it to this point. So you can decide how wide you want your palazzo to be. Okay, you can use 10, you can use 9, you can use 11, anything you like. Okay, so you can determine how decide how wide you want yours to be. So in my case I marked 11 inches plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's 12 inches in total for the wideness of the down part. Okay, so after connecting like this, I'm going to cut this out. So guys, if you watch, I did not cut exactly on the line at the down part. I moved my hand a little bit for folding, so that when you are folding it will not be short or too small. Okay, so you're going to move your hand a little bit at the hemline. I don't know if you guys understand what I am talking about, but I'm still going to show. So I'm going to cut this other side now. So this is what I mean. When you fold, you have it to be accurate, so you need to move. Don't cut exactly at the hem, don't cut exactly on the line. Move away from the line a little bit so that when you fold, it will fold properly. Okay, So the front panel of the trouser is ready. Now I'm going to fold my fabric into two again to cut out the back panel. So like I said, I'm using 2.5 yards of this fabric, and I'm trying to follow the pattern straight so that everything will be straight. So I'll be cutting from this other end. Okay, I'm trying to manage the fabric. I'll be cutting from this other end, and make sure you have up to 1 inch at the crotch area. Okay, and make sure you have like 3 inches at the side here. So in my case, I'll be marking 2.5 this side here. So make sure you have up to 3 to 2.5, and it depends on your client. If your client has a very big butt, you use 3 inches. So in my case, I'm using 2.5 inch here. Okay, so from here you connect to the tie line like this. Okay, connect it to the lower tie like this. So I'll be using my curve ruler to do this. My hip curve, so I'll be using hip curve to connect this. So you just extend this line, the waistline towards that side, and then you start curving. You curve like so, just a little bit below the tie line like this. Okay, I hope you guys can see the line. Okay, just this way. Okay, so now this is what I mean. I decided to bring the camera closer for you guys to see. Okay, so now I'm going to mark my waist from that line. I'll fold this like so, and then I'll mark my waist from that line. So whatever you have here, that is the same thing you're going to mark here. So I have my hip divided by 4, which is 10.75. I'm marking it like so. From that 2.5 I marked at the side. Okay, so I'll connect the line straight now. Okay, from that 2.5 I marked at the side, that is where I marked my my hip divided by 4, which is 10.75. Okay, so at this point where it stops, I'm going to go up by 1 inch here. Okay, I went up by 1 inch here, and then I'll connect it to the waist like so. So the back is a little bit bigger at the center back with 1 inch, and then you connect to the waistline. I hope you can see what I did. Okay, so now at the crotch here, I said make sure you have up to 1 inch. So I'm going to extend this by 1. Okay, and from this point I'm going to curve towards the side like so. So I'm still going to use my curve ruler. You can use a free hand. Okay, I love using my curve ruler since I already have them. So I'll just connect like this to this point. Okay, so just make sure your curve is neat. You just connect like so to this point like this. Okay, so this is now the back crotch, as you can see. Okay, so now I'll be adding 1 inch all this part here from the on the inseam. Okay, I'll be adding 1 inch throughout from here down to the hemline. Okay, so after adding the 1 inch, I've connected them offline, and now I'm going to just cut this out. Okay, this is it, 1 inch. So I'll be cutting this out. So just watch carefully how I'm going to cut this. Excuse me. Okay, so you cut from this point like so. Just follow this mark here like this and cut, and then every other side becomes the same. Every other side here becomes the same, like this. Just cut this part. Every other side becomes the same, just at the waist to the under, below the tie line. That is where is a little bit bigger for the back panel. Okay, so I hope you see how I'm cutting so that you will not make any mistake. Okay, so every other side becomes the same, and this other side you're going to follow your mark. So now I'm going to cut the hemline. Okay, so we are done cutting. So the back panel and the front panel is ready. This is the back and here is the front. Sorry guys, so I'm going to set this aside now, and here I'm going to cut the top. So guys, don't mind the way the shape of this thing, the fabric is on fold. Remember I said I'm using 2.5 yard. Okay, so you can make this a crop top. Okay, you can make a crop top, but for me I'm using length 25 plus 2 inches for folding allowance. That's length 27. Yeah, so for my armhole line I'm using 9 inches for my armhole line, and then my waistline I'm using 17 inches. I marked 18, but I went back to mark 17. This was 18, but I changed my mind. I'm using 17. Okay, and then the length. Okay, so now I'm just going to mark my shoulder, divide by 2, which is 8 inches. And then I'm going to mark my neck width. I'm using 3.5 inches for my neck width, and I'm using 3.5 inches also for my neck depth. So I'll be making the front and back. I'm cutting the front and back. So 1 inch for my back first of all. Right now I'm cutting the back, so I'm using 1 inch for my back first, and then I'll mark 3.5 for my front. I'll be using this to cut out the back panel also. So after marking, I'm not going to cut. I'll just place it on another fabric and cut out the back first of all. So I'm connecting like so. This is the front neckline, which is 3.5 inches. The neck width is 3.5 inches. The neck depth is 3.5 inches, while the back neck depth is 1 inch. Okay, so now I'm going to slant my shoulder by 1. Slanting my shoulder by 1 inch, and then here I'm going to mark my bust, divide by 4. Okay, I marked my sorry, not my bust, I marked my shoulder, divide by 2, so that I can get a straight line like this. Okay, I marked the same 8 inches I marked on my shoulder line there, and now I'm going to mark my bust, divide by 4, which is 10 plus 2.5 inches extra, 1 inch for sewing allowance, no, 1.5 inch for sewing allowance, and 1 inch for ease. On the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist, divide by 4 plus 2.5 inches. So you can use 1.5 inch for your ease allowance. You can use 1 inch for your ease allowance. Okay, like I said, I marked 2.5 inches extra 1 inch. I can use 1 inch for my ease allowance or 1.5 depending on the fitting I want. I want it to be free, so I think I used 1.5 inch for my ease allowance and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. So on the hemline I marked my hip divided by 4 plus 2.5 inch. So I'm going to connect like this. So here at the down part I said I marked my hip divided by 4 plus the same 2.5 inch. Okay, so you can use a hip cuff to connect or just a straight. So I just use the straight line to connect this. So now to curve my armhole, I'm going to divide what I have from this shoulder slope to the chest line into 2, and then I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch like this, and I'll connect like this. And then I'll curve my armhole. So I'm using the same armhole for the front and back. Okay, so now I'm going to just cut out unwanted part and fold another fabric and place this on top. I'm trying to make the line visible for you guys. So I'll slant my shoulder. I forgot to do that. So this is my shoulder slope. I said I used 1 inch for my shoulder slant. So guys, for the neckline I changed my mind. I decided to use 4 inches for the neck width instead of 3.5. Okay, so I decided to use, sorry guys for my voice, I'm having kata. So I decided to use 4 inches for the neck width, and then I connected it like this back to the neck depth like so. I'll do the same to the back panel also. So now I'm cutting out the unwanted part, and after cutting this out I'll fold another fabric into 2, and I'm so sorry guys about the cough, so sorry. So after cutting this out, I'm going to fold another fabric into 2 to cut out the back panel. Like I said, I'll not be cutting anything out now, just this unwanted part, because I'm using this one is just like a template for me. I'll use it to cut the back panel also, because I marked everything here, both the back and front. I marked them here, so I'll be using this to cut out the back before I'll finally cut out the front neckline. So I'm going to do that now. So guys, I've folded another fabric into 2, and now I'll trace out exactly what I have here. So I'm done tracing it out. Now I'm going to cut the neckline. Okay, so I'll now bring this one out. I'll just cut the front neckline, and now we have our front and back top ready. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out. For the back, is going to have a slit at the back. I want to open the neckline side, so from the neckline I'm going to mark 4 inches down like this. So I'm going to slash open it. So I'll slash open it like so. Okay, so now we are going to cut the facing for this. So guys, this is my sleeve. The sleeve is short sleeve. It's 9 inches long, including the folding allowance. Okay, this is 2 for the front and back. So I hope we know how to cut sleeve. So that is why I did not show that one to save time. The video is already too long. So now I'm going to fold this into 2 to cut out the facing. Okay, so I'll just trace out this. You can use bias to turn your neckline. Okay, if you don't want to use facing, you can use a bias tape to turn your neckline, but for this tutorial I'm using facing for this. Okay, so I'll just place this like this, Remember I said you fold your pieces into two and then you trace out the neckline. Make sure you have at least a little bit longer than your slits. Okay, this is the back panel. Here is where the slit stops, so I have like 4 inches below the slit. Okay, the fabric is 4 inches longer from where the slit stop, from where the back opening stop. Okay, so now I'm going to trace the neckline and the shoulder side. Okay, so we'll just take this out and just cut out the shape I want. Like this. Okay, so this is what I'll be doing. I'll just open this up to show you guys how I'm going to join and turn the neckline. So you're going to place it right sides facing each other. Right sides facing the right side of each other, like this. Okay, so let me turn to this other side that I have the sleeve so that you understand what I'm about to show you guys. So I'm going to sew the neckline, come down here, up, and the neckline again. Okay, so just the neckline with 1/2 inch, you take it down where the slit is and you take it up again, and the other neckline side. I hope this is clear enough. And then after that, I'll come and show you guys what next to do. Okay, so the same way I cut this back facing is the same way I'm going to cut the front facing. Okay, I'll cut the front facing exactly the same. The front don't have any slits. Okay, so now I want to create a loop for the buttonhole. Okay, because it's going to have a button at the neck. So you just get a pieces, fold, just create a loop, just fold it into two and sew it, make it neat. You fold it like so, and then you open one side up like this. Any side you want your button to be, you place it this way, close to the 1/2 inch. Okay, close to the 1/2 inch. Make sure you're leaving 1/2 inch for your sewing, and then you sew like so. Okay, I'll do that and I'll show you guys. So this is the front panel. I cut the facing exactly the same way I showed you guys. The same way I cut the back facing. Okay, so here I'm just going to turn the neckline. So I'll be sewing the neckline like this with 1/2 inch also, and I'll be back. And also for the trouser, because guys, now I have light, so I'm trying to rush everything. For the trouser part, I'll be sewing the crotch of the back and the front with 1/2 inch or 0.75. So you just sew the crotch like this. This is the back crotch, and then you also sew the front crotch like so, from here up to the waist with 1/2 inch. You do the same to the back panel. Okay, so I'll just go and do that and I'll be back. So guys, here is the top. This is the neckline for the front. So after turning, what I did was to notch. So let me remove my pin and show you what I did. I placed my right side facing the right side of the fabric, and then I sew with 1/2 inch. I sewed this way with 1/2 inch. I notched, and then I open it up like so and top stitch on the facing. Okay, so now for the back panel, you just go and iron this out and it will look flat. So you can use your hemming gum to hold the facing together, or you can, but not now, after you might have joined the two shoulders together. Okay, so now for the back, after sewing, this is what I have. So I sewed this way like I told you guys. So I'm going to notch. This is the buttonhole I told you that you should add inside, just for a neat finishing. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. I'm opening the facing now. Remember, it's only the fabric that I open. I did not open the facing. So you're going to notch around the neckline also, so that everywhere can relax better. So this is the loop for my button. Okay, this is the loop for my button. So I'm just going to iron this out and it will relax. Okay, so you fix your button. I'm going to fix my button on the other side. Okay, so this is what I have for the back panel. So now I'm going to join the front and the back together, right side facing each other like this. So I'll be joining them on the shoulder line. So I wanted to flip my shoulder like so to so, but I changed my mind. I wanted to sew it this way, but I didn't do that again. I'm going to show you guys what I did later. I made it I sewed it facing to facing, fabric to fabric. Okay, facing to facing, main fabric to the main fabric. That is how I joined the shoulder. I did not sew it this way anymore. So here guys, this is what I did, facing to facing and fabric to fabric. Look at this other side also. Okay, facing to facing, fabric to fabric, like so, right side facing the right side of each other. So this is what you have. The facing is going to be different, separate. So this is the facing here. It's looking neat on the inside and also on the outside, as you can see. So that is how I joined my shoulder. Okay, so now you're going to go and I also fixed my sleeve. Okay, I fixed one part of my sleeve. I will show you how I fixed the other one. I folded the down part of my sleeve. Like I said, the sleeve length I use is 9 inches, 8 inches for the main length, then 1 inch for folding. I'll be 9.5, sorry, 9.5, 8 inches for the main length of the sleeve, and then 1.5 for folding. So I'm notching the midpoint of the sleeve. I'm going to place the mid notched parts to the shoulder line like this. And I'll sew to the shoulder armhole, and I'll also sew this other side to the armhole. Okay, and then after that I'm going to fold into two like so, and then shape the side of my blouse. Okay, I'm going to shape the side of my top using 1 inch from the sleeve down to somewhere like 5 inch above. Is this 5, like 7 inches above the here, 7 inches from the, what am I saying, I stopped 7 inches before the hemline. Okay, I went up by 7 inches because I wanted to have opening at the down part. Okay, so you can decide not to have opening if you're making a crop top. So I've done that. As you can see, this is where my stops. I stop somewhere here. Okay, so I'm going to be folding this like so. After I serge it, I'm going to take this to the weaving to weave it. Okay, there's no light right now for me to weave this. I would have shown you guys everything. So after weaving, I'll just fold this part like so and sew down. I'll also do the same thing to the other side, and then I'll fold the down part. I'll fold my hemline. I hope this is clear enough. I'll do the same thing to this side. You open this up and sew like this. You open this up like this and sew it down to the hem. You do the same thing to this other side. After you have weaved it though, you sew down and then you fold the hemline after sewing. And then for this facing, you can use a hemming gum to hold it together, or you use needle and pin to tack the neckline. And also make sure to serge, to weave your neckline. Okay, make sure you weave your neckline, I mean the facing, and then you use your needle and pin to tack it, or you use hemming gum to hold it in place. So I use needle and thread for mine. And this is the trouser. I've joined the crotch area of the back like so. I sewed the crotch area from the waist down, and I did the same to the front. So this is the front crotch. I joined them together like so with 1/2 inch, and then I place the right side of the front to the right side of the back, and I shape the side using the same 1/2 inch. Okay, I sewed the side, I placed them right sides facing each other, and I shaped the two sides together up to the hem, as you can see. Okay, I shaped the two sides together using 1/2 inch. Okay, so now I'm going to be folding this part for the elastic. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold 1/2 inch first of all. 1/2 inch inside. Remember, we added 1.5 and 2.5 inch. So that is what you'll be folding. Okay, so this is where the line where I marked is. You'll be folding 1/2 inch inside and then 2 inches outside. I hope you understand. This is the line here. So this is what you'll be folding, 1/2 inch first, and then the other one on top of where you marked. Okay, and then I'll be sewing this round the waistline. I'll just leave like 2 inches where I will pass my elastic. So I'm using 1 inch elastic casing. Okay, and after that I'm going to fold the down part. I'm going to fold the down part. This is the allowance I added to. You just follow your marks, and then I'll fold the down part. Okay, I'll first of all fold in 1/2 inch, and then I'll fold the remaining one for the 2 leg. So here guys, I'm done folding the waistline, and now I'm about to pass my elastic into the casing. So this is where I said you should leave like 2 inches allowance. So for the elastic is my round waist minus 5 inches. Okay, if your round waist is 30, you minus 5 from it, that will give you 25, because this thing is elastic, so it stretches. Okay, you can minus 3 inches if you don't want it to be tight on you. You can minus 2 inches, but for me I used my waist minus 5. Okay, so after that I pin this side. So what I'll do now is to hold these two together. So this is it. I've passed it around the waist, and I'm bringing it out from this other side where I started also. So I'm going to hold these two together like this. Make sure you arrange it properly so that it will not be rumpled, maybe squeezing inside. Make sure it's flat everywhere. Okay, and then you're going to hold this together. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it flat so that it will not be squeezy. And then I'm going to sew the 2 elastics together like this. You can place them on each other and sew. You can place them on each other and sew, or you fold it. So here guys, I've joined the elastic. So what I will do, I'm going to weave this part so that the elastic frills, so I don't want it to lose finish inside. So I'll just do that, and I will close this open part. So there is no light right now to do the weaving, okay? So I'll do that and then I'll close this open part, and that is all for the waistline. And then for this inseam here, I have folded the down part. What I'll do is to place it like so and then close up the inside of the trouser. I'll sew from the hem down to this crotch side, and also from that side down to the other hem, the other leg of the trouser. And that is all for this tutorial, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and share this video, and I'll be seeing you in my next tutorial. Bye.